Let me paint you a picture. My parents are so rich, they once accidentally bought a small island. My parents are so busy that last Christmas, my dad wished me a happy birthday via text. My birthday is in July. So when the PTA meeting for Maplewood High's career and family night dropped on the calendar, I had approximately 3 seconds of panic before accepting the inevitable. My parents would send a check and a regrets note. They always do. But this year was different. This year, I had a secret weapon. His name was Leo. Leo, my next-door neighbor. Leo who watered my mom's orchids when she was in Monaco or wherever. Leo who smiled like sunshine and had gentle hands and, most importantly, looked nothing like me. He was tall, warm-eyed, with sleeves perpetually rolled to his elbows. He taught kindergarten. Kindergarten! I cornered him in his driveway last Tuesday. He was holding a juice box and a very serious-looking rubber duck. "Leo," I said, "I need to hire you." He blinked. "For what?" "To be my dad. For one night. 3 hours max." He set down the duck. "I'm sorry, could you repeat that slowly, preferably with less desperation?" I told him everything. The island, the July birthday text, the PTA meeting where every other kid would have a parent who showed up, and I'd be the one sitting alone, pretending I was fine. I offered him $200 and unlimited free pet sitting for his guinea pig, Captain Crunch. Leo laughed. It was a warm, crinkly laugh that made my chest feel weird. "You want a kindergarten teacher to pretend to be your wealthy businessman father?" "I want someone to show up," I said. "I don't care what you do for a living. Just sit next to me, nod at the right moments, look vaguely proud." He studied me for a long moment. Then he sighed, the way you sigh at a kitten who's climbed into the dryer again. "Fine, but I'm not wearing a suit, and you're explaining why your dad smells like finger paint and has a laminated schedule of nap time in his pocket. Deal." That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 happened the night of the PTA meeting. Leo showed up at my front door wearing a soft gray sweater and carrying a thermos. He looked less like a corporate mogul and more like someone you'd want to make you soup when you were sick. My heart did a weird little skip. I ignored it. "Ready, sport?" he said, grinning. "Don't call me sport. It's weird." "Would you prefer champ? Little dude?" "I'd prefer you just act normal." "Normal," he repeated. "I teach 5-year-olds how to share crayons. I haven't been normal a day in my life." We walked into the school gymnasium together. Rows of foldable chairs, a stage with a microphone, and a sea of parents in blazers and stern faces. I led Leo to 2 seats near the back. He sat down, pulled out a small pad of sticky notes from his pocket, and started doodling a cartoon cat. "What are you doing?" I hissed. "Taking notes. Dads take notes." "Not on cat doodles." "This one does." The principal started talking. Something about academic excellence and community engagement. I stopped listening around the word curriculum. Leo, however, was paying rapt attention. He even nodded seriously when the principal mentioned the new art supply budget. Then he leaned over and whispered, "I'm going to ask a question during Q&A." "No, you're not." "Yes, I am. I want to know if the finger painting facilities are up to code." "You are the worst fake father ever." But then, something strange happened. The mom in front of us turned around, smiled warmly at Leo, and said, "Your son is so lucky to have you. My husband never comes to these." Leo smiled back, that warm, crinkly smile, and said, "Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world." He put his hand on my shoulder, just rested it there, like it belonged. I forgot how to breathe for approximately 6 seconds. After the meeting, we walked home through the cold October dark. The leaves crunched under our feet. Leo had his hands in his pockets, and his breath made little clouds. You did good, he said. No one suspected a thing. You drew a cat on the PTA feedback form. A very cute cat. I also wrote more glitter in the suggestions box. I laughed despite myself. Then I stopped walking. Leo, can I ask you something? Shoot. Why did you say yes to the whole fake dad thing? He looked at me for a long time. The streetlight made his eyes look like honey. Because you looked at me like I was the only person who'd ever said yes to you, he said quietly. And no one should feel that way. Especially not some brilliant, funny kid who just wants someone to show up. My throat closed up. I'm not a kid. No, he agreed. You're not. And that's when I realized I had a much bigger problem than a fake dad. I had a crush. Not a tiny, manageable crush, the kind that fills your whole chest and makes you want to write bad poetry about juice boxes and rubber ducks. I spent the next 3 days avoiding him, which is hard when your bedroom window faces his living room. I saw him through the blinds, watering his plants, eating cereal in his pajamas, once dancing very badly to what looked like ABBA. It was the most endearing thing I'd ever witnessed. I hated everything. Then came the PTA bake sale. I hadn't signed up. I had no business being there. But my best friend, Maya, dragged me along for moral support, which is code for carry her lemon bars because she forgot a tray. Leo was there. Of course he was. He was running the cupcake decorating station, surrounded by a small army of kindergartners. He had pink frosting on his cheek and a paper crown on his head. He saw me across the gym and waved like a golden retriever spotting its owner. My fake son, he called. Come try a sprinkle tornado. Maya raised an eyebrow. Fake son? Long story, very embarrassing, please don't ask. But I went over anyway. Because I was weak. Because he had frosting on his face and a crown made of construction paper. And he looked at me like I was someone worth looking at. You have pink on your cheek, I said. Do I? He wiped the wrong side. No, the other... Here. Without thinking, I reached out and wiped it off with my thumb. His skin was warm. His eyes went very soft. Thanks, he said. Yeah, whatever. A tiny girl tugged his sleeve. Mr. Leo, is that your boyfriend? My soul left my body. Leo laughed, a startled, genuine laugh. No, sweetie, that's my neighbor. He's blushing, she reported. He does that, Leo said, and then quieter to me. You okay? Peachy, I squeaked. That night, I sat on my front porch at 11 p.m., staring at the stars and questioning every life choice that had led me to this moment. The door beside me opened. Leo came out in his pajama pants and an old t-shirt that said Naptime Champion. Can't sleep? He asked. Can't stop thinking about how I hired a kindergarten teacher to be my dad, and now I have feelings. He sat down next to me. Close. Feelings? Stupid feelings. The kind where I notice how your hair curls behind your ears. The kind where I want to hold your hand during boring PTA meetings. The kind where... I stopped. Forget it. This is weird. You're like a whole adult, a responsible adult. You have a guinea pig named Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch is very responsible, yes? You're not helping. Leo turned to face me. Under the porch light, he looked impossibly gentle. Can I tell you something weird? Please. The bar is very low right now. I said yes to the fake dad thing because I wanted an excuse to spend time with you. I've lived next door for 2 years. I've watched you carry groceries and argue with your mom on the phone and once try to teach your cat to do a trick. You're kind, you're funny, you're the most interesting person on this block. And you didn't even know I was looking. I gaped at him. You were looking? Kindergarten teachers notice everything, he said. It's the training. Also, you're very noticeable. So the whole fake dad thing was an excuse, he admitted. A terrible, elaborate, probably inappropriate excuse. I'm sorry. I sat there for a long moment. The crickets were loud. Somewhere, Captain Crunch squeaked. Leo, I said finally. Yeah? I don't need a fake dad anymore. He winced. Right, of course, I overstepped. I need a date to the winter formal. He stopped mid-wince. What? You heard me? You owe me. You used me for my proximity to orchids. Leo laughed. It was my favorite sound, warm and surprised and a little bit giddy. You want me to go to your high school dance? I'm 26. You're also the only person who's ever shown up for me, I said. And you draw very good cartoon cats. So, yes. He was quiet for 3 whole heartbeats. Then he reached out and very carefully, very deliberately took my hand. His fingers were warm. They smelled faintly of crayons. Okay, he said, but I'm wearing the paper crown. I would expect nothing less. And that's the story of how I hired a dad and fell in love with a kindergarten teacher instead. My parents never found out. They were in Dubai. But Leo showed up to the winter formal in a gray sweater and a construction paper crown, and when the slow song came on, he held me like I mattered. He still does. Cap'n Crunch approves.